Hello, YouTube. All right, so here I am at the Home Depot parking lot, and I came up with a solution. I don't know if you see all these weird numbers here. I'm in process of doing the roof to the shed, and figured I had to put this. I guess it's called the fascia, not the fascia, but it's the edging along the roof, the metal edging to try to keep water from hitting the wood. So I measured everything out as best as I could. I kind of had to guess, because I couldn't really climb up there, and it's complicated. And it's been raining all week, so I've been trying to, I guess, like the roof work whenever it wasn't raining. You're not supposed to be doing roof work in the rain, but I had to keep pressing forward whenever it was dry. But anyhow, got to the point where I'm getting ready to put the actual roof on. Hey, Janet, good to see you. Good to see you, Tim. So I was trying to put the roof on, and then had to measure the perimeter of where the roof will go, the wooden parts when I put it down, so I can put this there to protect it. And they only sell these in like 10-foot segments. So it wouldn't fit in the car, but obviously you can see I figured out how to make it fit. I tried all sorts of little things. Like, I sat there and I said, well, we're not going to, the sides there are about 12 feet and the other one's about 18, it's like 12 and a half feet, and the other one's about 19 feet. So those things being 10 feet means I have to use more than one piece anyways. So I was like, well, maybe I can cut it up to fit it in the car. Originally, I was going to take it just like this, but I thought of dropping the back window right there. That thing opens up, but it doesn't lock down, and then you'd have to tie it and do all sorts of crazy stuff. So even though you can open that hatchback, the window, it would stick out by about a foot or 2 feet. As you can see, it's sticking out here. I didn't think of doing this till I was actually at the store, because what happened was, my solution was, I was going to do this weird measurement system where I'm like, well, I could cut it. So this part here, I could do 8 by 8, 8 plus 8 plus 4. That would give me 20 feet, which should be more than the 18.75 that's needed. So that would work. That would allow me to cut the pieces. But then it would take 8 of these beams, 8 of these things, which was kind of wasteful. So, but I was like, well, that's probably the way I'm going to have to go, because 8 feet I can fit inside this car. This little vibe here with everything down to carry stuff. It can carry up to 8 feet. But I had 10 feet, so I was like, well, I'll cut it, and it'll fit. So I brought my heavy-duty metal cutter. This is like a really sharp, really strong cutter. It's like a wire cutter. It cuts nails and stuff. So I brought it here and figured, well, I would cut it. And then I was looking at the numbers, it's like, well, if I try it like this, where 5-foot segments, it would be a lot easier, because there's like it's 10 feet across. So if I cut it 5, that means I can just split it down the middle, and then I can still lay it out as a 5 and 5 and 5. That gives me 15, which is more than the 12.5, and a 5, 5, 5, 5. 4 pieces. That would give me 20, which is enough to cover the 18.75. So that would work. And I was like, and if I do it like that, I only need 7 pieces, which is what I bought. I was like, I'll do that. But then when I came to the car and I tried to load it up, I measured it all out and I tried to cut it. And as soon as I tried to cut it, I could see this wasn't going to cut it. Even had the gloves and everything. I just went by Walmart to pick up these gloves so that I could cut it without cutting myself. And I sat there and pressed, and I was like, this little thing here, aluminum or whatever it is, tin, is super thick. It's like, I was pressing down. I was like, I'm going to be here for 10 years trying to snip this through. So I don't know if I have another cutter that's a better cutter, or I'm going to have to use a saw with a metal cutting blade. That looks like that might be the best way, is to get a saw with a metal cutting blade, even though this thing's not straight. It's like a corner piece. It's a L shape, because it's supposed to go over the roof and the I don't know if it's called the facade or whatever, the edge of the roof, to keep the water from hitting the wood. So I couldn't cut it. And I was like, now what am I going to do? I'm freaking stuck here with the beams that are too long to fit in the car. Then I was like, hey, wait a second. What if I roll down the front window and shove it out through the window? So that's what I decided to do, and I'm going to have to drive home like this. It only sticks out by about a foot, less than a foot out. So it's not much further out than the mirror there. So I'm like, I think I'll be okay. I hope a cop won't pull me over. You know, I think I'll be okay. So that's my plan. I'll let you guys know. I hadn't been filming because it's been raining like almost nonstop. This is the first day in the last week and a half that we didn't really have rain. I think we had rain this morning. But other than that, it hasn't been raining anymore. And I think it's supposed to be clear the rest of this week, which is, you know, tomorrow's Friday. So, rest of the week. Not much of the rest of the week. But I'm going to rush home today to try to get what I can done on the roof, you know, just in case it decides to rain again. But hopefully by this weekend, the roof will mostly be done. And running into some problems there, like the tree that was there. There was a tree that's in the way. And then it gets complicated. But long story short, I'm having to do weird stuff, just like I had to do with the rest of the house. And, you know, I'll do another video to talk to you about that if you decide to buy a house, like whether you're buying a regular house or a tax deed house or whatnot. Things that you really need to look out for, because you don't think about it until you have to deal with it. Like the fact that a tree might be growing near the house, because then, you know, it actually starts breaking up the foundation, or it hits the roof, or crosses over power lines that drop at the house. When you call the city, you call the electric company, they say they're not responsible for that. That means the homeowner is. And then you go to remove it and you're like, well shit, you can't just cut the tree down because I'll hit the power line. And then you look and you start to try to call around to get somebody to come do it, and they don't want to do it because there's a power line there, and they can't get the equipment back there because there's a yard and a fence and a house in front of it. So then you're like, man, things that look like they would not be a problem, they become pretty big. So to cut the tree down, I'm probably going to have to cut the tree down myself. It's making me have flashback of Walter's tree. You know, Walter had me in that house because he couldn't get rid of that tree. He paid somebody more than $2,000 because the tree had fallen down in a storm at Walter's house, and he paid somebody more than $2,000 to remove it, and they didn't remove it. They just chopped it up to bits, you know, and then just left it like that. Then, you know, Walter had me go there. He said I could live at the house and then remove that tree, and, you know, the best that I could. So that's what I did. I went in there and I cut the rest of it, and I removed it from the neighbor's yard, and I did all that because the person he hired and paid $2,000 to do it didn't do it and just skipped. So I'm running into that situation with my own house now, and I'm like, what the tree's in the way, and I can't cut it because I don't have a ladder or anything. You need like a A-frame ladder that's like 40 feet tall, which there isn't one. You basically need a truck with one of those cherry pickers or whatever to go up there and trim it. But you can't get a truck like that back there. There's a fence in the yard, and there's a septic system, and the dirt back there, it's not dirt, it's sugar sand, so everything will get stuck. You know what I'm saying? And then there's power lines everywhere. So I'm gonna have to do what I was doing before, which was I tried to cut it by climbing onto the rafters to cut it, but then, you know, it broke the rafters, and I almost died. So I was like, so what I'm gonna have to do is build a roof. I have to build the roof so I have something to stand on. Then I can go cut the tree. But the reason I had to cut the tree is it's in the way of the roof. You see the problem? So right now I'm building the roof to go around the tree. I mean, and then maybe just leave it like that, but I'll probably still trim the tree. You know, it's not like right in the center of the building, but it's on the corner, a little tiny little spot of it. So I'm having to build the roof around the tree. Otherwise, I can't even get the roof up. And I need the roof up so I can go stand up there. You know, some of you are like, well, couldn't you build a temporary? No. It gets complicated. So long story short, I had to do some crazy stuff. And hopefully this will resolve the issue. We'll get the roof fixed, and I'll get the tree cut. It annoys me that something simple becomes really complicated. But anyhow, I will post a video, let you guys know what's going on. As far as the house itself, um, it's pretty much the same as before, except that I've stained the kitchen. I put not really stained it, but coated it with polyurethane, so the wood's a little bit darker and it's waterproof now. Other than that, my wife got the sofa and also got a dinner table and bar stools. So the house is a lot more usable. One of the bad things I'm finding is that having the house kind of usable, I come home tired and I just want to sit or lay down in front of the TV and become a couch potato. That's the problem with having a house. I think if you have a house that's comfortable or whatever, you tend to not do anything. You tend to just come home from work and say, oh man, I'm so tired. And you sit down and flip on the TV, and next thing you know, you're watching TV and you don't get things done. So I don't know, but I'm going to go home today and I'm going to attempt to not do this part, but do some other parts on the roof. Maybe I'll film and let you guys know what's going on with the roofing. So look for that video later today. I'm going to read your comments here. Elaine was freaking out. Elaine, I'm still alive. Hello, fire. Bobang says, make sure you overlap the edges 1 inch between each connection. Yeah, the way I've got it planned, it's going to overlap by like a foot or more. That way, kind of seal it. And also I'm trying to look at how I overlap things, because you want to overlap it to try to maximize blocking any water coming in. Now, I also did something, a little trick. If you ever have to do I don't know what they call it, is it fascia or whatever, the wood? We'll talk about it on the other video, and then you guys can tell me what the name is. But you have the rafters that come out that are exposed, and then you put a piece of wood along the length of it, on the rafters that stick outside. I think that's called the fascia, and that's what this is going to go on. It's a fascia. But anyhow, I was looking at the wood to use for that, and if you have not been at Home Depot, remember how you thought COVID prices was crazy? The prices right now is astronomical. I went in and I was like, well, maybe I'll just use, I was looking at 2x4s because I had to get some 2x4s to finish up the roof. And 2x4s, when I was building the hut, remember the hut I built in the woods, which was a couple years ago, 2 years ago maybe? They used to be about $3, maybe $2.68, between $2.68 and $3, $3 something for one of them. And then when COVID hit, it jumped up to, I think it jumped up to like $6, $5 or $6 for one 2x4 beam. 2x4 by, I think, 6 foot or 8 foot. So I was like, wow, that's what I can expect to pay. Then I come in here and it was like, I don't know, it was like $12 per 2x4. I'm like, what the price is astronomical. So I started looking at the wood to use for the fascia, and all the wood, because I wanted it to be like the same height as the rafter, which is like a 6-inch, 5.5 inch, wide or tall, if you want to say that, the height of it. So I was looking at all that wood, and it was like running. If I bought the beams themselves that I use for the rafters, they tend to be a little bit too thick for a fascia, but I was like, well, they'll be the same height. But they were like $12 each, and I figured how many I would need about $200 worth of wood just to do the trim, and I was like, this is ridiculous. So then I started looking at others, and I looked at just plain pieces of wood and stuff, and they ran anywhere for the fascia between $12 up to like $25 or $30 per piece of like 8-foot segment. I was like, this is ridiculous. So I was like, maybe I just have to leave the rafters exposed. Then I decided, you know what, let's try using substitute. What can we use? I was like, what is the closest thing that I can think of to the fascia? Then I walked by the fencing department. Yeah. I don't know if you looked at the fences, but they have wood, and wood is wood, right? And they pressure treat it and coat it with chemicals and stuff, so you might not want it on the inside. But, the fascia is outside anyways. So I was like, I saw the fencing, and they had loose planks, which were, I think, 6 inches wide, 5.5 or 6 inches wide, exactly the same width as my rafters, which means they could be used as a fascia. So I like bought a whole bunch of those. They were only $2.48 each versus $12 to $30 for one plank. So I bought like 12 or 14 of those things, and maybe 16, I don't remember. But I bought those, and I'll be using those. Basically, I guess if I wanted to finish it, I could sand down, this side of it, and it would be smooth. But I'm just gonna leave it rough. I don't care, because this stuff's going on it, But yeah, that's one way to save money, is if you could use if you need wood, and you're not using it for indoors or anything, you could get the fence. Look at the wood that they use for the fence. They sell like I don't know if it's cheaper to buy the fence already assembled than break it apart. But I bought the single planks that they have sitting out, and I was like, wow, this saved me nearly $200. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. I will keep you guys posted, let you know what's going on. I thank you all for joining me. Jenna says 10 snips. I don't know if this is 10 snips, but this was supposed to cut it, and it didn't cut it. So I don't know. Drive slowly with the emergency flashers on. I think I'm going to do that. Janet says that's why she's got to get in a van. Maintenance will be cheaper until the engine blows or the transmission. and then it's really stressful because you're living in it, and you got to be able to move it. And if it, I would recommend it to anybody if you're going to live in a van full time, if you can. Try to save enough money so that you can, at least $2,000 to $4,000 set aside for an emergency repair. The other problem is if you have to get that repaired, you got to stay somewhere while it's getting repaired, So you may have to be in a hotel or something, unless they let you sleep at the, I doubt they'd let you do it, but they might if you talk to them nicely with the repair place. But yeah, those are things that you have to deal with. It's like when the car breaks down. Or, I had such a cheap van. The van I bought at the time was like $700. I was like, well, if I have $1,000, I could just buy a replacement van and swap it out. So, something to keep in mind. A lot of people think when you go in a van, you don't have all the problems. You don't have all the problems of a house, but you have the problems of a car, And then other things that can happen, like, police knocks and taking a shower and things like that. It's a different set of problems. But overall, I think it still is cheaper to live in a van than it is to live in a house. Yeah, Elaine says rubber and plastics are fixing it sky high. Tires, rubber, boots, etc. Everything's going sky high. At this point right now, things broken. So, I don't know. It's super loose, and I may have to glue it. I don't know. Everything's falling apart. But at this point right now, anything that you buy is going to go up, and gasoline, obviously. So, let me try to mount this thing. You guys can ride with me a little bit. I am trying not to buy too much stuff. I really need to I was going to get a saw blade to cut metal, for my jigsaw. And the problem with it is I couldn't leave the car. If I leave the car, I have to leave the door open. I have to leave the door wide open. I mean, the window open here, because this thing's sticking out, and I can't put it up. And while I was out here in this parking lot, some dude came up asking for money. People have been walking around asking for money all the time now. I'm seeing more of that. So either, the people who do this as a scam are really taking advantage of the situation with everybody knowing that the price is high, or indeed there are more people who are now suddenly needing money, homeless or whatever, and just walking around begging for money. So I'm going to turn on my flashers. Well, I'll wait until I get out of here. I'll wait until I'm on the road. That way people can see me signal. But yeah, I see all those pallets right there. Actually those are the fence. I don't know if you can see that. That's the fence. Kind of like, I'll just show it to you here real quick. See how they have the planks on the fencing? That's what you could use to build with. But what I was thinking is, like, if you wanted to build a cheap hut or something, I might do this if I can, have the time to get some other land somewhere. You could build a cheap hut using pre-made fence. I think it's cheaper. You could buy the fence and it's already pre-made. It's cheaper than trying to buy wood yourself and use it. So you could use the fence as the walls, and if you close up the gaps, you know, that would allow you to cut the cost of construction. The other thing is to go with pallets, wooden pallets. I'm debating, you know, I'm thinking of trying to build a pallet house or a pallet shed. I'm gonna put on my flashers because I got this thing sticking out. But I'm thinking of doing that just as a little project. But with the, you know, I got to get the house done first. That's the first thing, is to try to get the house done. But then I started thinking about projects and everything. And you guys know I was supposed to have been retired already and in Thailand at this point. I'm like starting to get lost in this whole COVID and now the war and everything else going on. I'm losing sight of what my plan was. So I'm thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should regroup and concentrate on what my goal is. You know, what I'm trying to do, what I'm really wanting to do with my life, and not let, you know, because COVID is the COVID things are being lifted, so things are starting to return to some normalcy. And I was thinking about it, I was like, you know, maybe I need to concentrate on trying to get YouTube to be profitable. And so I've been doing a lot of analysis and stuff, and I actually have a video, maybe I'll do a segment on it. One of my videos, you guys may or may not know, but like advertisers pay a certain amount of money for certain videos, keywords. That car just hit me with a bolt or something. Flew off that trailer and hit me. But anyhow, advertisers pay to advertise on certain videos because of the subject matter and the keywords and whatnot. And they say that you get a CPM rate. I think that's the clicks per million or whatever. Like how much they pay for, or per, it's like per every 1,000 views or something like that. They pay you a certain amount of money per 1,000 views. Okay? And most videos, you know, they say if you can get a $2 CPM or higher, you're doing pretty good. And most of my videos get anywhere from 6 to 12 CPM, which is actually pretty good. It's just I don't have the views, you know, people don't watch my videos. But I get about 6 to 12 CPM, sometimes 20 on certain topics. But I had one video that had a whopping, I think it was like $86 CPM rate. I mean, $86 CPM rate. And I looked at how often that video had been viewed or monetized, you know, because YouTube, what they do is your videos can get monetized, but when they show it to the viewers, sometimes they don't run ads on it. So it's like a random thing. They sometimes run ads and sometimes they don't. And so they'll put on there, you know, monetized views. That means that they had where they showed it with the ads running. And that thing only had 1,000 monetized views on it, like a little bit over 1,000 monetized views, and I made like $60 or $80 on it for like 1,000 views, which is extremely high. So I'm gonna go back and look at that video and say, what the heck was on this video? Because I have never seen a CPM rate of like 80, it was $86 or $88. That is ridiculously high. So I'm gonna go look at that video and see what it was that had so many views. I mean, not views, such a high demand for that. You know, not every video is width the same. So some videos on YouTube, you could have 1 million views and you might only make $100 on it, or you might make $1,000 on it. It depends on the CPM rate. You know, the cost per click or whatever it is that the advertisers fought over to bid on it, to pay to get to advertise using that keyword. But I'll look at that video and see what's up with that. The other thing I'm thinking of doing that, is cutting back on these videos that don't make any money at all, but they don't really take time for me to make, but they clutter my channel. Like I'm up to like more than 2,000 videos. Nobody can find anything anymore. I can't find anything anymore. And some people suggested to keep the videos up because they do make money. They just don't make a lot. It's like they make maybe, some of my videos only make like $1 in a month. It's like some videos, most videos that I've published have made at least $1 or $2. Like this one, I don't know, might make $1. I don't know. Because it's not popular enough, and it depends on whether or not there's a demand for it, the CPM rate, and obviously how popular a video is. So I started thinking about it. I was like, maybe I should do more of the videos that people actually like, that people actually watch. And when I say people, I mean like YouTube in general. I know you guys, my loyal viewers, will even watch paint dry to help me out. But the average YouTube viewer, they watch certain types of videos. And most of the stuff they watch, I think, is kind of bad stuff. Like half-naked girls, bloody stuff, people getting murdered, crazy stuff. But or complaining. People love complaints. So maybe I'll do a video showing you my top earning videos now that we're probably about 6-7 years into YouTube. We've got some experience with YouTube and what works, what doesn't work. And look at my top performing videos just to analyze them for those of you who are either, looking into getting into YouTube or already have a YouTube channel and are trying to get it monetized so that you don't make some of the same mistakes or so that you can benefit from it. But I'm going to go over my top videos, what they earn, and talk about what I think made the money. And some of them are surprising. Like, I don't know if you guys remember Walter's lawnmower. Remember the lawnmower that wouldn't work? And my repair was just flipping it over to empty out the gas, and there was grass in the gas. That video alone made more than $900. It's crazy. I spent 15 minutes making a video where I'm getting ready to cut Walter's grass and the lawnmower won't start, so I flip it over and I take the gasoline and I put a coffee filter and I filter the gas, then I pour it back in and the thing works. And that video has made $900. Of course, you guys know about my headlight cleaning with the Dollar Tree. I spent $2. I used Dollar Tree toothpaste and I think a sponge. That video, my most popular video on this channel, earned $1,600. And I'm trying to think of some other surprising ones. Stuff that didn't work also made money. Some people say, why does Denoy make videos of crappy stuff that doesn't work? Because they make money even though they didn't work. Like, for example, I don't remember me painting the car little blue with the clear coat. Remember, I was trying to make the van look better, even though it looked pretty bad all around. It had a bad paint. And I tried using clear coat because the clear coat was peeling and flaking. And I got the Walmart clear coat painting thingy for $2. And I was in the Walmart parking lot because remember I was still living in the van at the time. So I started spraying my van with the clear coating, and so it cost me $2. And then we took a look at it and it looked like crap. It looked horrendous. That video I think made $200 or $300. So it cost me $2. It didn't work, but it made $200. So if you're going to say, well, if you were doing it as a money earning venture, it took me all of 5 minutes to do and I made $200. So I may need to do more videos that have more general interests. Like some videos people like are review videos of everyday things that people use that they promise will work. Like maybe liquid plumber, So I don't know, maybe I'll do more review videos of general stuff for cars and automotive, because this channel, I think, because it was living in a van originally, it tended to kind of blend in with the automotive channels. So I was getting referrals, like when I did the headlight cleaning and stuff. Although I really want to do more how-to videos to save money, like make amazing stuff that's cheap. But those kind of videos, they may not do that well, because a lot of people either make these videos and it's flooded and your video gets hidden and buried, or I don't know, the YouTube algorithm just doesn't show people the videos I try to make. But it's hard to predict what will go viral on YouTube, and some people go out of their way to try to go viral and it still doesn't go viral. I made some that I thought would be interesting, like exploding the egg, and it didn't go viral. So it's like a crapshoot. Now I do know that if I wanted to drive views up on this channel, all I have to do is bitch and gripe and complain and start putting people down. Those get a lot more view. So what makes me sad is I was looking at all the I guess you gotta call them OGs, the original van dwellers. A lot of them have disappeared. People like Will Burson, remember him? Wandering Will Burson. He's still doing videos, but he's getting like less views than I am. And I think he's got like about 20,000 or 40,000 subs. But he's not getting very many views. A lot of the original, the OG van dwellers are not getting many views. But here's the crazy stuff. The people who have been attacking the van dwellers, the people who basically steal the content of the van dwellers and post it and make fun of them and stuff, they're doing really well. Their channels are getting a lot of views because they attack and make fun of people, which to me is like sad. It's a sad, I guess it's a sad statement of humanity, or people on YouTube, the YouTube crowd. That somebody who doesn't really produce anything at all but goes around on other people's channels, steals their videos and then rags on them, basically shows their videos and rags on them, makes more views and gets money on it, makes more money than the original content creator, which is messed up, but that's how they have it. Anyhow, I'm rambling again. I will show you guys the house so you can see what's going on. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out. I'm on the interstate, not interstate, but I'm on the highway and kind of need to really pay attention. Thank you all for tuning in, and look forward to the video maybe later today on the house update. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.